What's up? What's up? Welcome to another market recap. Today is April 16th, 2025. So, no trades for me today. I had a total of four on watch, really. I had two 1 hour that happened at the same time at the first hour of the day at 7 a.m. I had a trade at 8, no trade at 9. There was a trade at 10. None at 11, a trade at 12, and then I kind of stepped away from the charts at 1. I wasn't really in front of them anymore after the 12 o'clock hour. So it's kind of fascinating. You know, I spent all this time tracking data for this little project that I'm doing right now, and every day had the potential to take like 3 to 5 trades on average. Yet here I am now through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I've only taken 2 trades. You know, yesterday I had 3 trades that were within a pip of being triggered. And then today I hesitated on these first 2 trades we're going to look at. And I'll show you why to enter them. They played out, but I feel like my reasoning for not being in them is valid. This Aussie trade was during the CAD rate announcement was during this hour, and I don't like trading news, so I chose to stay out because typically that's part of my plan is I just don't, if there's a trade, I'm not going to take it during news. But news caused the trade to play out. This pound Swiss trade already ran to target, so it could have been taken, but we'll get into it. And then this pound Aussie trade, which was probably the nicest trade of the day that I found. It's a pretty clean ABO, but I don't typically trade ABOs on these lower micro timeframes like this. So I was hesitant to take it because it's not something I've really done. So it's not like it's part of my research I've been doing for the past month where it's like all the trades I've really been focused on are like wave 1 breakouts, essentially. Like I'm looking to play a wave 1 breakout and then it pulls back and I take the wave 3, or after it's already broken out, I'm taking the now wave 5, right? So it goes wave 1, wave 2. I'm looking to trade wave 3. If it'll keep pushing and usually goes from an IBO to a CBO, it'll pull back on wave 4, and then wave 5, I'm looking to also trade that wave. So I primarily am targeting the wave 3 and wave 5. With my strategies. This is a wave 1 breakout play though. Like this is how this kind of starts, you know, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, right? Pretty decent example of it, honestly. So I've mixed emotions about today. So I had to start the day, we'll look at this CAD trade, dollar CAD for the 8 o'clock hour. And when I was looking at this trade, I had made a watch list the night before, a daily watch list. So I was looking at this daily setup as an IBO, you know, wave 1 breakout, coming back for a retest, and then continue higher. So I still had that bias first thing in the morning. And I saw this kind of setup occur. I don't love the price action. I drew in this trend line because technically, you know, it has this whole trend and it is the first real break of it. But my issue is that at the time of entry, the 10-minute time frame is sitting like the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA are right in the way. Like for you to get triggered into this, you have to trade through what was just previously rejected right here. And I look to have nothing between my entry and my target. I want like a free flow to that point. Because typically my target is the 50 EMA on this 10-minute time frame, right? So price is sitting right on it. Now, you do have to trade, like levels break all the time in trading, like all the time. So it's a valid trade, but also it's ugly. Like there's reasons to take it and there's reasons not to take it. And I know with trading these micro time frames, I don't have to force trades because there's usually a plethora of like nice looking quality setups. And I wouldn't rate this as like an A+ setup. Like in my head, it's like a B or maybe a C setup due to kind of like this price action. The only nice thing this trade has is the daily bias of this 1 hour bias of bullish at this point in time in the day. Like at this point in time in the day, my bias is still bullish on this IBO on the 1 hour time frame. So I could have played that bias and took the trade, and it would have played out very quickly for a 2R. So it's a potential 2R right there. And at the same time that this trade was playing out, you had Euro Yen doing a similar thing. Like on my daily watch list that I had made, I had a short bias on most of your yen pairs. And so, I had a trend line drawn in here, a break of that trend. So wave 1, wave 2 pullback, playing wave 3, like a wave 3 CBO is how I was looking at this, right? So I had a deeper kind of pullback is the only thing. But then you did have this overall kind of like structure of price action right here. You had a clear break of it and then come back for a retest. So this is an IBO and then continue short. My issue though is that again, it's sitting right at the 10-minute 50 and 200. Also, price has already come down and tapped that 50 and then retraced. So it's not like an A+ setup. Again, like it's a kind of a B grade setup. There is stuff in the way for me getting to my target. So for the same reasons I didn't take dollar CAD, I also chose not to take this trade either. I mean, they were happening right at the same time. And I had just got in front of the charts probably 5-10 minutes earlier. Because usually I'll get in front of the charts around, like say 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm in front of the charts around 6:50. And I'm starting to do a scan of my watch list of the pairs I typically micro time frame trade, looking for setups. And then right when the hour flips over, the stuff I have pre-flagged, I'll go back through and look and see if the levels still line up, see how the pivots look with everything and whatnot. But yeah, I stayed out of these two trades due to mainly the 10-minute 50 being in the way, right? Then also on this Euro trade, it kind of just looks like a break and a retest, and it almost looks like a CBO itself, long, not really short. So I have like conflicting price action between these two charts, and I want these to line up if at all possible. Primarily, most of the time, I want these two timeframes to line up. So, but two trades, would have only taken one of them. I wouldn't have taken both. I can't take two at a time just due to the sizing and leverage that's needed to take some of these small positions. But it's a potential 2R right there that I could have claimed. Either way, the 8 o'clock hour had this Aussie CAD. And this Aussie CAD, as you can see, like this would be an example of a pre-scan. This is 7:58 or whatnot, right? So that it's about to roll over to the 8 o'clock hour. I've identified this setup, and now I'm just waiting for these pivots to transfer over. So if we hit the play button, you can actually watch this happen in real time. So then the pivots will flip over for me. And this looks like a pretty decent CBO, right? I have this upwards kind of price action. a clear breakdown of it, a break past the 50 on the 10 minute and the 2 minute, a clear break of the 200. So this is now like you could say this is a wave 3 CBO, or you could say it's a wave 1. You could say this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3. And so this would be a wave 5 CBO that you're playing. Or you could say this is all one wave, this is wave 2, wave 3. So either way, everything pretty much lines up. You had, a double top on your 1 hour, like price looks pretty good. All things considered. The only main negative that I see is this whole zone right here. I mean, price had come down, like it respected. Now it had broken above. And now we're kind of sitting right at that point at the start of this hour. So that's the only main negative I see, is just if you drew in a horizontal support and resistance line right here, it'd be sitting at support just based off this most recent support right here. But everything else is pretty much there for a short bias with the double tops, the clear breakdown in this price action, broke below the EMAs, the fibs line up, the pivot lines up. Everything's there that I look for, right? So 100% a valid trade. My issue, though, was that the CAD rate announcement was in the 8 o'clock hour. And so knowing that, I'm either looking at the CAD rate announcement, I think was at like 8:45 my time. So I'm looking for this trade to play out in the first like 5 or 10 minutes of the hour, or I'm more than likely just not going to take it. Because with small position sizes, I'm just a 7 pip position size. If news comes in that's like high impact, like a rate announcement with a CAD pair with the broker that I currently use, more than likely it's going to jump to a massive spread for a couple of seconds. But if, say, price action is just lollygagging a little bit between 0.382 and 0.5 for me, and I'm just chilling in this area, running a little bit of a loss, waiting for news to hit, and even if price then goes down when news hits, the spread is likely to take me out. So for that reason, it makes me nervous to trade through news announcements with micro time frame. So I've just not been doing it. So it's a valid reason to not take a trade for me, is the way I'm currently seeing it. But if we fast forward here, right, like this, it's going to take too long. Just exit, replay over here. This trade presents an entry, roughly 10 minutes into the hour. So not immediately. I didn't take it, and price does exactly kind of what I'm describing, and it just bobs around here. And I've been running at a little bit of a loss here, nearly kind of taken out at this kind of spike, and then the rest of the time just chilling. But I would have been sitting roughly here when the news came out. And then I was watching this, and I have the ability to see spreads in this 15-second time frame, and I can see the spreads jump a considerable amount, and then price falls immediately, right? So then it's just a question as if I would have been taken out or not. I'm going to lean towards the side I probably would have been taken out due to the spreads just jumping real high for a second. My stop loss would have been triggered right here for a full loss, and then downwards if I was in this trade. But also, I'd probably be out of this trade for a loss anyways, because I would have triggered here, I would have broke the 30-second EMA here, I would have clipped this high, and then I'd be out for 0.3, 0.4 loss. So yeah, trade ended up playing out. So another potential 2R that could have been captured today. So it's 4R total at the moment that could have been captured. 9 o'clock, I didn't really have anything. Everything was kind of crazy after the CAD rate announcement. Stuff moved a considerable amount, and nothing just really seemed clean to trade at the time. The 10 o'clock hour, I had this pound Swiss. Now, the other interesting thing is that with the tariff stuff these past, week or two, and the increased volatility and the larger price movements, I've been able to trade more pairs from a micro time frame perspective than I usually can. And what I mean by that is, like, this is a 7-pip position on pound Swiss. It's a solid setup. Has mainly the stuff I'm looking for. It's, testing previous kind of support levels. It has this trend, a clear break of the trend, coming back for retest the EMA, and then a push to the 250, right? So what I've showed multiple examples of. The two issues with this trade was that, one, it had already pushed to my target immediately. It pushed to my target. So now the probability of this trade work playing out for me goes down. So then price retraces. But it's just kind of has this high test on this 2-minute time frame. I'm sitting here contemplating, do I take something like this or do I not? And granted, this is all happening relatively quickly because this is a 2-minute time frame. But I'm also watching the spread on this pair jump from 1.6 to 3 pips for me. And it is a 7-pip position size. So if this thing's sitting at 3 pips, I can't trade it effectively. I would try and enter the trade right here, but it would probably trigger me up here or something like that. Or if I'm super strict with it, price has to push down a good bit before it triggers me in. So either way, it doesn't really work with these tight position sizes to trade with large spreads. But it has been okay for me to trade a pair like this these past couple of weeks as I've been gathering all this data, because the average position size on this pair, last week and whatnot was like 20, 30 pips. So I could tolerate a 1.5 to 3 pip kind of swing sometimes. 3 pips is still a lot, but I could handle like a 1.5 to 2. It's manageable, but it's really not manageable with a 7-pip position size. I think the rule of thumb that I've kind of gone by when it comes to trading a pair that has a spread to it is that if the spread should not be greater than 10% of the position size. So if I'm running a 3-pip spread on a 7-pip position size, that's well over 10%. Even if it was a 10-pip position, it'd still be 30% of the position size. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a valid setup. It would have been a break even or a 1R trade probably, but it's also an example as to why I don't like to take trades that push up, hit my target already, and then retrace, right? Like, I'd much prefer price to pull back and then push than this to happen right here. So either way, likely this, if I was able to take this and I dealt with the spread, it probably would have been a break-even trade or a slight loss, just due to the fact of it would have been nearly impossible to lock in a 1 with a spread that was like on this pair. So this really became not tradable for me. That's how I viewed it. It was a valid setup, but really wasn't tradable. And then I had nothing in the 11 o'clock hour. The 12 o'clock hour, I had this pound Aussie ABO, right? And I have a pretty kind of clear support level here on this 1 hour time frame that's been rejected multiple times. And I am at the extremes of that zone, right? So it's either at this point, it's going to reject it again, or it's going to break out to the downside. That's how I'm viewing it. And I drew in this trend line. It's whatever. But mainly it's the EMA break and this price action break right here. That's the main thing. But this kind of like double bottom, you've got MACD. You've got a lot of the elements that I look for when it comes to taking an ABO, so to taking a breakout style trade. It's just I'm not used to taking these trades on this time frame. Like usually if I'm trading ABOs, it's on my daily time frame. So I'm targeting a 1 hour run right here. So the position size for this changes for me because I'd be targeting something way up here, right? So it's pip size wise, it's still a 14 pip stop position and it's a 4-to-1 trade. So it's great R to R. It's just if this fails, you'll immediately get tapped out. But I mean, most micro time frame trades are like that. So I don't know. I sat here and I watched this. I watched it. I started watching roughly here, and then I watched price action start to develop right there. And I think price had a decent kind of like 5-second, 15-second entry in this area. I marked it in here, but I think a better one really would have been when it started to break right here. You have a kind of another double bottom-ish and a push on this 5 and 15-second time frame. So this is more bullish than just the break of the EMA right here. So, but valid trade, and it played out beautifully. Full two target, even a little bit more past it. But how I'm starting to think about trading ABOs in this micro time frame, because this isn't the first time I've seen this happen now. I've been paying attention to ABOs. I'm just not confident enough yet with them to trade them on this 2-minute time frame, because you got to be super precise in your timing to be able to catch an ABO with a 2-minute run. I feel like, I mean, you have to nail the pivot in the market to the T. So, and you'll have no confirmation other than like a double bottom. Like it's going to be within a pattern. So I've got a triangle here, and then maybe you'll get a double bottom. That's usually about the minimum I would look for. But if it's a better kind of triangle pattern, maybe you have like a triple bottom or something like that, right? But yeah, it's interesting. So I've watched these occur a few times. Usually I've position sized them as I've been paying attention to them to a 4-to-1. And when they play out, they all played out for a 4-to-1 thus far that I've tracked. But I've also position sized these for 4-to-1, and it just breaks down right here and immediately taps you out. So I think the difference maker is really just having a solid 1 hour kind of support or resistance area. So that's I've been thinking about this since I've seen this trade today. And I'm like, if I'm trading an ABO on a daily time frame, I'm looking for like a solid extreme kind of level that's support or resistance. So like this is my daily watch list for today. I don't really have anything, but I have a ton of stuff that's on like development watch, right? Like stuff that's waiting for breakdowns. But you could start classifying some of these as ABOs, right? Like they're hitting multiple points. The only two I'm kind of watching here for potential ABOs, and I still would need to see how stuff develops, is this dollar Swiss and dollar CAD. But price has, like on this dollar CAD on my daily time frame, price has reacted to this level multiple times over the span of a few years. So I'm looking for like a super solid support and resistance line, a level, like some sort of extremes too, right? Like extreme lows, extreme highs, and this is a low, but it's would be respecting these previous extreme highs. So like this has the potential for an ABO. It doesn't have a great pattern here right now. Price is respecting this trend line pretty solidly, especially like right here. But yeah, so when you flip to the 2-minute time frame and go back to looking at this pound Aussie example, and I guess I need to be able to see the same solid kind of level on a 1 hour time frame. Like it doesn't have to span back years, but it probably needs to span back like, what is this, a month in this case? Like this line has been respected right here for like 2-3 weeks, right? So it needs to be obvious, I would say. Either way, it's interesting. It's something I'm going to keep paying attention to and seeing if there's a way to, I mean, there is a way to capture these. It's just, am I confident enough to execute the trade and risk the capital on the position? Because theoretically, I could be wrong 3 times and right once, and I'm at like a break even for this kind of strategy. Or I can be wrong twice and right twice, and I would be plus 6R on this strategy. So with just a 50% strike rate with it, if all my position sizes are 4 to 1s. So it's very fascinating. Yeah, that was my day. So I'm currently still only at 2 trades for the week, when I really thought I would be at probably anywhere from 10 to 15 trades by the end of Wednesday at this point. And 2 trades Monday for -2R. There was a total of really 3 trades yesterday, 4 trades yesterday that could have been taken for a total of 7R. So that my week at that point should really have been sitting at plus 5R. And then today, I hesitated on these 2 trades. I could have taken one that would have put me at 7R. And I also could have taken this Aussie CAD and just traded through the news. But I probably would have been taken out of this for a slight loss just due to my management style, unless I just got really loose with management, which I don't really see myself doing. So I'd probably be sitting at a, let's say, 6.5R right now. This pound Swiss, I still wouldn't be able to trade it just due to everything we already discussed. And then this pound Aussie, I could have taken this. And it would have captured 4R. Like management-wise, I mean, I'd be break even on the push to essentially, once it gets around to 2R, I just move the stop to break even. And then price never really pulls back at that point. So when price, pushed a good bit past 2, probably roughly here, I'd lock 2, but I don't think I would have got tapped out to this pullback. And I mean, hell, we can find out actually. 2 would have been that. Yeah. So, I mean, I would have been locked 2 right here. Price would have pulled back right here. I would have locked 2 when price pushed right here. So I wouldn't have been taken out, and then price would have continued pushing at that point straight to target. So that would put me at roughly about 10.5R for the week right now. With the trades that I've identified by the end of Wednesday. Or is today Thursday? What is today? Today's Wednesday. So by the end of Wednesday, which is kind of what I've been gathering data-wise over the past, few weeks to a month that I've been tracking all of this, is that there are the opportunities there if you can find them, and as long as they pull back and you can flawlessly execute them every single time, there is real potential to do 10R a week every week. Like the opportunities are usually there. It's just, do you execute on them when you need to? So today, I have reasons for not executing on all of these trades, right? Are they valid? Are they not? I think some are. I think they all are relatively for my current position. But yeah, it's a little annoying, I guess, because I should be sitting at 10R right now, but I'm sitting at -2. So, but cool. It's the fun part about recording all this. You get to watch the process. When I fully flesh this thing out and have it dialed, I'll be able to go back and watch, some of the beginning iterations of it. but still a lot of potential, still cool. I just would like to be sitting in some profit right now rather than a little bit of a loss. So, but either way, that's all I've got for today. I will catch you guys tomorrow. See you.